All right. So now the next speaker is here is our next speaker. So Kyrylo Khomiakov, who is the regional lead of Binance. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. So well, you are actually first presenter presented from car. I don't know how can I help you. I mean, with with presentation or anyhow else. But I assume you have a course of action. So the stage is yours. Let me know if you want me to upload anything anywhere or assist you in any other way.
No, that's fine. Sorry for the logistics. I'm going to stop right now. So I hope the connection is good. So which language are we talking today? Is it English or Ukrainian?
Well, it is a IEEE forum, so yeah, English is a requirement.
Right, super, no problem. So first of all, thanks a lot for having me. Apologies again for a little bit background noise. I'll stop in a moment. I am really happy to be able to talk a little bit about strategic projects that Binance help implementing in the regions and in our region and globally. And hopefully soon with the upcoming regulation in Ukraine, we will be able to implement these use cases and many more in Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, and that's obviously for myself and for my team is the most important country. So I'm the regional head of the Central and Eastern Europe, Central Asia and Africa at Binance. So myself and my team were responsible for growth and all the operations in these countries. With the recent shift coming from the US for the last year with the President Trump election, much more countries are actually understanding that instead of fighting crypto, it's much better to embrace new technology and actually give for the citizens of the country all the power and additional benefits that the blockchain and crypto are bringing to the users and to the country as such. So immediately, most of the countries of the world have started talking about things like strategic reserve, about the local currency-backed stable coins, and obviously the discussions about the CBDC, central bank digital currency, are happening for a while in any case. But there are more, right? There is payments in crypto, there is a special tax regimes and the special regulations for the crypto companies and other things to actually invite more business to the country so that engineers, people are building the projects, companies, startups are being created. So overall, it creates additional jobs and additional taxes for the country eventually. So what we've done for the last couple of months is in the some CIS countries, specifically in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. So these countries are very crypto friendly, right? They want to become the regional hubs. They want to embrace the crypto. They want to invite crypto companies, crypto startups. They want to help educating new generations so that they are like making a strategic course forward supporting crypto. So a couple of things that I wanted to share with you, and this is actually working already. So I'll start from the CBDC, right? So CBDC is an interesting one. Central bank digital currency. A lot of the digital banks are thinking about that, but there is really lack of the use cases. But there is already a use case in Kazakhstan, which I think is going to be very relevant for Ukraine. So what these guys did is central bank digital currency is used for the governmental tenders, right? RFPs, where RFPs, when you are using the CBDC to disburse the funds to the winners of the government RFPs, so that you have all the transparent review of where the money flow goes. And if you are the corporate user, for example, the companies that building the roads, or for example, the company that's building the telecom networks, you are really have no choice to receive these funds from the government unless you get it in the local currency CBDC. And so for all the commercial banks, in order to support the corporate users, they had to build their own nodes to disburse this CBDC to their corporate users. So immediately all the banks in the country, they now support this CBDC for the corporates. That's not for retail this, but it's still a good thing because it's supported by all the banks, it's supported by all the big companies, and it builds this transparency and controls over the government funds. With the recent events in Ukraine, I'm sure that if we had these things, it would be much easier to prevent potential crimes or to control the state budget allocation and utilization. So that's one. In Kyrgyzstan, for example, there is a different flow, right? So the National Bank is using CBDC more for retail. So they want to combine the national-backed stable coins, the national currency-backed stable coins, and the CBDC, and create the bridge between traditional fiat, local stable coin, and CBDC to create this 360 flow of the digital local SOM. That's the name of the local currency, which is actually also a good idea, and build like a separate wallets for all the users who would like to see. That's another use case for the CBDC. But again, this is a very early stage, and if the National Bank of Ukraine will decide to eventually go back to this idea, we will be very happy to support and share our technology and share our knowledge and help building it in Ukraine. So second thing is the national currency-backed stable coins. So all the countries, they want to support the new technology and the digital projects, but everyone afraid of the USD-backed stablecoin because no country in the world wants dollarization of its economy, right? Everyone is afraid and would like to prevent the situation like in Argentina, for example, when you see the prices in the local retail shops in the USDT, right? So the main focus for the regulators is to support the national currency and to expand the power of the national currency. That's why national currency-backed stable coins are so important and is being now developed in all the countries. So we built separate ones for Kazakhstan and for Kyrgyzstan. And this is meant to speed up the process of the money inflow from crypto to the local currency, as well as a couple of other cases, which is the payments inside the country and cross-border payments, as well as connection with the CBDC and also yields for the users, right? So what's the main use case for the local currency-backed stable coins? Obviously the yields, because the rates are more than 10%, which is very competitive in the market. So if the stablecoin issuer would decide to share these yields with the users, that's a very strong use case. So that's the second thing. The third thing is and I actually know that there is a couple of I will connect what's done there with my understanding what's happening in Ukraine, right? I know that there was a couple of the stable coins built in Ukraine, but the main problem is that there is no regulation for the stable coin. For stable coin to be successful, it needs to be onboarded by banks, right? Not just by issuing bank and reserve bank, but also by all the commercial banks to have a quick and easy conversion between the traditional local currency and the stable coin, right? Unless the stable coin is regulated like hryvnia, right? It will not be accepted by the commercial banks as the high risk. So I think one key requirement we need is the stable coin regulation. And obviously for UAH, there is a very, very strong business case, both from the yields and potential percents it can generate perspective, and also for the issues we're having for the payments within Ukraine. So yeah, really looking forward to this once we are ready to do it. Now, crypto reserve. This is also another very interesting thing, as you can see from the last couple of years, basically from the time when war started in Ukraine, a lot of the central banks globally are buying gold heavily because there is concerns and risks regarding the US dollars. So the banks are moving from the US treasuries to the physical gold, and this is actually what pushed the price of the gold so much up for this last couple of years. And this is actually a good sign for the not just the traditional banks or the institutional clients, but also the governments and the regulators, which is the most traditional and the most conservative ones, to differentiate their portfolios. And we see more and more cases and announcements of the governments who are buying the cryptocurrency in their reserves. There is a discussion happening in Ukraine too, but it's very early stage. Just a draft of the law has been submitted to the parliament. And when we dig a little bit deeper what it is required to apply this law, it actually appears that so many different laws needs to be changes. It's even like up to the constitution, some articles needs to be changed to be able to support the crypto reserve. But the interesting fact that all the countries, they are doing the crypto reserves differently. It's just only Kazakhstan, I think, who is changing some existing forex reserves to crypto, a small portion of it, right? However, some other countries, they are getting it from some specific revenues the country receive. It's either from mining, or from the gold mining, or from the crypto tax. So these are the actual use cases we saw, that from these like new revenues, this all been reinvested into the Bitcoin, BNB, and some other currencies. So this is actually happening in many of our countries, and we saw this already, that Kazakhstan bought a lot of the BNB. The National Crypto Reserve is established in Kyrgyzstan and in few other countries of our region too. So that's on the crypto reserve. Now, another interesting thing is basically tokenization. So tokenization is going very fast, and initially, we started discussing with our very advanced Ministry of Digital a couple of years ago, right, about tokenization of some governmental services, right? So we were thinking about tokenization of the diplomas in the higher education, or the land register, or some other registers to be tokenized and to be put in the blockchain. However, this didn't have a strong use case. So what we see now is that the idea about tokenization is changing. It's more now thinking towards the real liquid, real world assets, right? RWAs. And the most liquids are obviously gas, oil, and physical gold. So there is many use cases in the world when these types of assets are being localized, and it actually pushes the business model and the revenue model for these companies who are doing it up significantly, right? So it solves the logistics issue, it solves the price fluctuation issue, it solves the controls issues, it helps to raise capital, and it's like significantly improves the business model once there is the possession of the such a liquid assets from the company. So I think we're going to be seeing it more and more, and hopefully I can start talking about some of these projects in Ukraine, but I have not heard about this yet from my side. So yeah, really, really happy to support this type of things. Another interesting thing about tokenization is verified credentials, right? So there is the pilot projects that are happening now in Dubai and Abu Dhabi about the verified credentials of the someone's
IDs and someone's credit history. So it's just the way how we work with the documents. So now, in order to get the loan, for example, in the bank, you don't need to prepare a lot of the documents. You just provide a hash key, right? And the bank can go to the blockchain and validate that your data is right with someone who is also in the same system of the validation. So with this verified credential is also something interesting that's happening. And lastly, I think we are hearing more and more about paying in crypto and being able to pay without a need for the traditional Visa, MasterCard, and other payment systems. So this actually speeds up the process significantly, reduces the price for the whole ecosystem, for the merchant, for the user, for the acquiring bank, as well as allows much more flexibility to no needing to hold fiat or the exchange from your fiat to some local fiat for the tourists, etc. So we've heard about the countries like Bhutan that has enabled the payment across the whole country. So it's actually interesting how it works. It works through the Binance Pay, and the only thing that needs to be accepted is that the bank who is owning these POS terminals or these QR codes, if there is a national system, to be able to accept stable coins as a means of settlement from Binance, right? So then when the user is paying online in the retail network at some merchant, but either buying a coffee or booking the hotel or whatever in this country, he can pay in any of the cryptocurrency, then Binance automatically converts it to the stable coin and sending real time this amount in the stable coin to the corporate account of the bank at Binance. So that's it. And I mean, as soon as however, then when the bank is settling to the merchant, it settles in the local currency. So it doesn't change the approach that all the countries are having, that the only means of the payment is the national currency, because the actual payment to the merchant is happening in the local currency. So it's fully compliant. The only thing is that the bank has to accept the settlement or in the stable coins. And I hope with the upcoming regulation, we can do it soon in Ukraine and enhance our payment ecosystem to the different level. So yeah, there's just a couple of the things I wanted to share, and I really hope we can see more of this example and many other use cases in Ukraine soon. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm opening for the questions, if any. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Kyrylo. It was informative. And we already have 2 questions. So I'm showing them one by one, and I will be reading them to you. So between mentioned proposal, how could you prioritize them on the scale of value, effort scale for Ukrainian case, for Ukraine's case?
So in any business case we are looking at the potential and the size of the country, right? So it's very business oriented. The bigger the country, the higher the business case, the more potential revenues and profits and the crypto adoption it builds. So for us, Ukraine will be always a priority because that's the biggest country in our region, and the crypto adoption is so huge, and the number of users, if you count per population in Ukraine, is one of the biggest in the world. So for us, Ukraine will always be a priority. And how we look at this is actually how many people is going to be using this service. Whether or not we can benefit from this financially by some fees structure or some, users onboarding structure or not, but just helping country to build the crypto adoption. We always look at the use case from the number of users who potentially can benefit from this solution.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. One more question. Who might be interested in Ukrainian tokenized assets? So what kind of customers, geographies, I assume what kind of investors, maybe some types, categories of these assets could be of a higher relevance than the others?
So that's the traditional things that Ukraine is selling abroad, which are the commodities, right? So let's say I'll give we don't have too much gold, but I will give you the theoretical example how the gold tokenization work, right? So there is a big country that mines gold, and it has the actual vaults. So it's actually the real world example that's now building in Asia. So this company that mines gold has opened the vaults in Hong Kong and in Singapore, and these vaults belong to the specific custodian, right? Verified custodian. So they moved a specific amount of the gold there, and they have tokenized it. So now people across the world, for example, from Ukraine, can buy this token and own the gold that they can go and pick up physically anytime from these vaults, right? So from Ukraine example, that's interesting. What we can do, we can tokenize electricity, right? We can tokenize gas for both internal market or external if we export. So there could be a lot of the use cases, but it's important that these assets should be liquid. And another thing is that you can tokenize both the asset itself, or you can tokenize the shares of this company, and then you can invest in this company business model in a way to profit from the revenue this company generates.
All right, understood. And do you think it is the type of securities? It is more, more like equity or more a debt? What type of, or it is hard to forecast at this given time?
So this is what I'm saying. It can be a tokenized equity, right? If this is a public traded company, whether in Ukrainian exchange or US exchange, so you can tokenize the shares, right? Tokenize equity, or you can tokenize the asset. But the most important question here is who is the buyer of this asset? So if you have the buyer of this asset globally or externally from Ukraine, and from logistics and the price fluctuations perspective, this can be very interesting business case.
I was asking. Well, thank you for this answer. I was thinking, asking. Maybe it is too detailed. From your perspective, what do you think can be of a bigger demand in Ukraine? Is it like a debt-based securities or equity-based? But if it is too early, or it is too specific question, or it is too hard to forecast, then yeah, we can skip it.
I think it can be anything that has a strong business case. I would say, since we don't have a strong Ukrainian exchange, right, with the public listed companies, I would more think about the assets and specifically about our export production. It can be agriculture, it can be gas, it can be electricity, something liquid.
All right, understood. Thank you so much for this. A lot of interesting information. We probably will be following up with the questions. And yeah, thank you for being with us. Wishing you to have a pleasant journey to there where you headed.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.